Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're giving you our Week 8 fantasy football starts and sits for the Thursday night football game between the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers. One of these guys is going to get beat up. We're here to help you make all the right decisions on who should be in your lineup, who should get out of your lineup, and who you are going to wish you had taken out of your lineup. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right meow.
Hit that drop. Hello, everyone. I am Justin. That is Kyle. And this is the Fantasy Football Upside. Thank you very much for dropping by our Fantasy Football podcast and YouTube channel. Kyle and I appreciate it.
Yep.
Hopefully.
See, I told you he'd be back. I told you.
Exactly. Did you lie? Did you try to say?
We don't lie. We don't lie at all. Never.
But you know what? Hopefully that waiver wire episode that Kyle ran solo did a great job on. That was all kind to you all. If you need a refresher or see if any of our waiver wire players are still available, check out our episode from yesterday, the link where Kyle points, and then down below. It's a really good one.
It's a really good one, guys. Actually, there's a lot of good names. This is the time of year where you got to make that playoff push. So this is where you need to figure out who's going to carry you there to the promised land. And there are a couple names in there where I talk about specifically how they're going to get you to that promised land. So make sure you double check that episode, guys, if you haven't seen it.
We're almost halfway through. I mean,
this week, man.
We're halfway through, man.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is two thirds of the regular season for most fantasy leagues, and then they move into the playoffs in week 13.
Yeah, that's true.
And most are finished. They should be finished by week 17 or 16. Sorry, if you're in a league that finishes in week 17, leave that league. Don't do that league next year. Yeah, yeah.
Don't be that guy. Yeah. But
I've got that one. I've got that one.
Oh, don't be that guy.
There it is. Today we are hitting you with Week 8 Thursday Night Football start-sit matchup, and that is the Atlanta Falcons at the Carolina Panthers. So
we're going to really talk about this one, huh?
I'm actually really ready to talk about this one. So,
yeah,
Kyle, why don't you go ahead and...
There's going to be hardly any defense on one side of the ball, so
should be a pretty high-scoring game, at least in one way. What you got for me?
You know what? Click that like button, click the subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified every time we upload this stuff. It's a whole lot of fun. We like making it. We like helping everybody out. We've been getting a lot of good questions down in the comments, so we appreciate that. We like interacting with you guys. It's a whole lot of fun. And it's, it makes us feel good actually helping you. And when it pays off, that's even better. We love it then. Help you avoid some trouble, maybe help you find some trades, that sort of stuff, guys. So whatever kind of questions you got, just let us know. We're here to help, and it's because we're always asking.
Do you need assistance?
Missed. All right, so it is Week 8. Let's dive in headfirst into the shallow end, and let's talk about this game here, guys. We've got Atlanta at Carolina, and I'm going to take Atlanta here, take the away team, and let's go right off the top. Matt Ryan, sit him down. I'm going to say sit him down, believe it or not. It's not going to be an easy week, and he's been very inconsistent and inaccurate. It's been very rough. He's, for whatever reason, I've watched a few of the games. I don't know why I have, but I've watched a few of these games where I've seen him flat out throwing like he's Mitch Trubisky, throwing to the wrong shoulder, missing windows, not reading the defense correctly, just making boneheaded mistakes that he is definitely above. And it's weird. He's been on the downswing for a few years now, ever since LaFleur left as his quarterback coach. He's been on the downturn, and it's been surprising. Right. So I'm saying sit him this week. I think that there are better options. Check out the waiver wire episode, and check out the episode that we're going to have drop tomorrow, where we talk about streaming options there for you as well. Okay, so moving on, I've got Todd Gurley as a start. He's facing a bottom 5 running defense against the running back, right? So they're allowing, they're allowing the 5th most points to the running back position in fantasy football. And so I would say expect a lot of points from a guy who's doing exactly what we said in the offseason he was going to do. We said in the lead up to the season that he was climbing up our draft boards. It was the perfect situation, the perfect offense for him. And it is turning out to be the case. He's carrying a lot of teams actually out there. Ito Smith is a sit. Brian Hill is actually a flex, I think, if it's a multi-flex. And I'm saying mostly because of this week's matchup. not
Okay.
because of any other scenario where you can pick him up.
Not because
and use
of
him.
his talent.
No. But I think that what you're going to see is Todd Gurley is going to get 20 carries and they're still going to keep him on a pitch count, but that this offense is going to work through the running backs primarily. Maybe they're going to try with the tight ends as well, but I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
But it's primarily going to be the running game. And I don't think it's kind of like how Alexander Madison presents some flex value in most games just because there's only so many carries that number one guy can get, and the offense really wants to run it. I think this is a week they're really going to try to run it. Julio, I'm saying start. Calvin Ridley, I'm saying start, but I've got the same note on both of them. And that is that this is a very tough matchup. You're relying on Matt Ryan to do well here. But as we always say, you got to start your studs. And right now, I question whether or not Julio's a stud anymore. He's put up a game here or there whenever I've said something negative, right? So maybe he's going to blow up for you. So I'm saying something negative. Maybe he gets it done for you.
Yeah.
Sit all the other wide receivers. Right now, Russell Gage is interesting, but I think he's a little banged up, and I think that we got to pass on him for right now. I haven't checked on the injury report on him, but I did see his leg bend in a way that human legs don't bend.
I know he came back.
I remember watching Bob Sanders do that in a playoff game against Pittsburgh and going, wow, man, that leg doesn't bend that way. And then he was out there the very next play, and I'm like, oh, I guess that one does. Mine doesn't. But I'm not a professional athlete.
Right. You got that adrenaline running, and then the next day you're like, oh my gosh.
Well, he got stabbed in the other leg. He got stabbed in the other leg like the week before by his girlfriend or wife or something.
That was Nick Harper.
Nick Harper. Okay. Yeah.
That was Nick Harper.
Yeah.
Nobody forgets a stabbing right before the Super Bowl. Trust me. Not when you're a Colts fan.
No, yeah. All right. And then my last start here is Hayden Hurst. I'm saying that, look, this is not a terrible opportunity, but it's also not a great one. This is a middle of the road kind of situation. And I think that partly what's going to benefit him is that the wide receivers are going to have a tough day because this is a defense that does shut down the wide receivers more than it does anything else. And so wide receiver and QB struggles a little bit because they're not getting big chunk gains, big pass plays down the field. Instead, it's going short passes to the running backs, handoffs, and tight end passes that are maybe 10, 12 yards max down the seam of the defense. And that's about it. So look, I'm hoping that you have another startable tight end on your roster this week. Hayden Hurst is probably a safe start, but I'm not expecting him to blow up. I think that maybe you'll be lucky to get 40 yards and a touchdown out of him. If you get that touchdown out of him, that the day is salvaged, right?
I mean,
because
it's a
with tight end this year,
with
tight end this year, if you get if you start a guy who gets a touchdown, you beat the week. Like, you seriously killed everybody in your league possibly. So, so it's a tough one this week. Atlanta is one of those teams that you really want to play a lot of guys because you see the potential. But in a matchup like this one, you got to be extra careful because they have not lived up to expectation. This team just hasn't. So that's where we are on that. What do you got on Carolina?
So for Carolina, this is going to be a really good matchup. Atlanta ranks, towards the bottom of everything when it comes to giving up opposing points to all the positions. All of them. So I'm going to start off with Teddy Bridgewater. I think this is a very good QB1 this week.
Yeah, I think you're gonna hear his name tomorrow too.
Yes.
So tune in for that one, there, guys.
Yes. I mean, once again, fire him up against this defense, and they're actually giving up the most points to opposing QBs, the Atlanta Falcons defenses, and Teddy's come off a couple pretty good games. He put up a pretty good game against the Saints last week, which, is typically a tough matchup. That was a revenge matchup.
That's surprisingly not a bad matchup actually this season. Their defense is really struggling.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things where at least the defense knew, they saw Teddy Bridgewater all last year. Yeah. So it's like you weren't really going to surprise too many people on what his ability is, and he still did really well. And he is doing well against the teams he's supposed to do well against. If you look back on his games, the teams that struggle, giving up points against opposing quarterbacks, he's taking advantage of it, and I think he's going to do the same. So, all right, elephant in the room. We're at running back right now. Christian McCaffrey, he has been practicing. Yeah. So
I don't know if he makes the lineup.
Monday, they brought him back. They put a red jersey on him. He didn't really do much work on the actual field. Tuesday, they officially brought him back from the IR. They had
so he's rostered now. He's on the 53.
He is rostered. He is off the IR. He had a red jersey when he went out there. He removed the red jersey and got a little work in.
I got to say, if they've got him in a red jersey, they don't want him to even get touched.
They took the jersey off, though.
I understand that, but I don't think he starts this week. I don't.
So this is one of those things where, we're going to find out by the time, by the day that you're watching this. You're going to watch this on Wednesday. You're going to know. They're not going to lead up to it. They're most likely on those. They're going to usually let you know by Wednesday night. So it's one of those things where if he plays, I still feel confident and go ahead and play him. He is good enough. I mean, this guy's signed to a long-term contract. They're not going to risk anything for him to come back and re-injure and hurt him for the next seasons.
My bigger point is why would they do it? They don't need him this week. They're going to win without him most likely.
I think a lot of it has to do with him. A lot of it has to do with him.
He's not the coach or the GM.
He's not. He's not. But he's got.
He might be getting more. He's probably getting paid more than them. But
oh God, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's not even close
combined.
Now.
Combined.
Maybe combined, they're like half.
Yeah.
So if he does sit, this is probably your last week to really roll out Mike Davis. Mike Davis did play really well those first couple games in Christian McCaffrey's absence, but the last couple games he's been getting some volume. He just hasn't been very efficient with it. He's averaging like 2.5 yards a carry. So this is, if CMC is out, I feel confident. Go ahead and start him up. He may have a little flex appeal, towards some of the rest of the season. McCaffrey's not going to have that 95% snap count like he has, or 95 to 99. But I don't know if he's going to have enough value, Mike Davis, to continue to roster or even have.
That's a tough one. I think you got to let it. I think you got to let it ride for a couple weeks and then see. It now might be the perfect time to try to trade him, especially if Christian McCaffrey doesn't play this week. Now's the time to try to trade him and maximize your value. We're not saying sell him cheap, obviously.
Right. If someone's willing to trade for him and give you something for it, then I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
So now we go over to wide receiver, and hello, Robbie Anderson. I mean, how bad he was with the Jets, or just like how inefficient or how, roller coaster of a time that he had, that's the total opposite this year with Carolina Panthers, with reuniting with Matt Rule. He is a borderline wide receiver one. He is getting the targets and the target share to be a wide receiver one, and he's proving that. And then DJ Moore is a start as well. Yep. This was a kind of a nut stat for you. 93 yards each of the last 3 weeks. Each week he's had 93 yards and a total of 3 touchdowns.
He gets those 93 and he's like, okay, I'm done.
I'm good. I'm going to tap out now. Yep. Bye. And he's had 3 touchdowns. He had one game last week. Last week was actually 2 touchdowns in the first week of those 3 weeks. He had a touchdown. So it's a great wide receiver too. If you're in a pinch for Curtis Samuel, he's still getting some touches in the backfield, but he's one of those boomer bust type flex spots. But other than that, I have Ian Thomas. I have all the hopes going into the season because he's an IU grad and he's got a lot of athletic ability. He just hasn't quite put it all together on the field just yet. That he's still super young. Maybe next year.
Yep.
All
right. Yep. Well, that's going to be it. So, it's going to be an interesting game. One team's going to really beat up on the other one. I think this is not going to be a fair fight. That's going to do it.
The Falcons are going to win?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Write that down.
So guys, that's going to do it for tonight's episode. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for all of our top starts, streamers, and fades. And because we're going to get really streamy up in there. And we were just talking about how streamy it's going to be before we recorded this one. Yep. It's going to be super streamy. And so I'm also going to put on the screen here the waiver wire episode from this week as well as last week, because now's the time when you're going to start making those moves that are going to help you get to the playoffs and then get to the championship. So I'll put those on the screen. And make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so you're notified every time we upload this podcast. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks for being fans of the upside. Bye.
See you guys.